This is where the truck is out of control. It might be in the middle of a crash, and the driver happens to do something to pull the truck out of the cartwheel or out of the crash. And what I like to say is, sometimes in Monster Jam you're lucky, other times you're good. The best Monster Jam moments are when you're both. When I made the shift from good to great, what changed? And I realized that I followed these same 4 steps, believe it or not. It's less about what I wanted to do and accomplish, and it's way more important who I wanted to become.
The same 4 steps to completing a Monster Jam backflip is really what, in my own story, allowed me to shift from good to great, to find that next gear I never knew I had.
But making the shift into your full potential, here's what I realized. I don't believe that there's a secret to life, but I do believe that there are gears. And I shift out of the gear I'm in now, and I shift into another one. And someone said, what's your favorite gear? Because I share my 7 personal gears, what I believe are my foundational beliefs that are in this book, that have allowed me to stay unstuck in this process. And they said, what's your favorite one? You know what my answer is? Whatever the next one is. If we're going to shift from good to great, we've got to make a couple perspective shifts. It's not fake it till you make it. It's believe it until you become it. Do you remember that first day on the job? The first customer that you greeted? And that mentality a lot of times is, oh man, you got to fake it until you make it. But chances are, if you've been around this team for any length of time, at some point you had to believe that you were the best option for whatever customer walked in next. But the ability for you to go in there and make a real difference for your customers, you had to know that you were their best option, didn't you? Here's what I've realized. A good perspective, right? When one door closes, another door opens. A great perspective is when one door closes, grab a sledgehammer. Sometimes we're waiting for permission to become great. You have full permission from not just me, but every single person that steps on this stage, from the person that brought you here and gave you this trip. You have full permission to become great, if you've got the courage to grab that sledgehammer. This is the point in the talk where I actually changed gears myself, because I've shown you a lot of the highlights. Can I show you one of the most embarrassing moments of my career? Okay, I had one of our Monster Jam people go up to Rob and say, hey, we're gonna let Bryce do a backflip, it's his first one. Okay, and this is what happened. Oh, how pitiful! Look, I think it was the pyrotechnics that were the most embarrassing for me, right? And so my foot, I never dropped my foot back off of the brake, and so my feet looked like that going to it, and it hit so hard, it threw my left foot forward and just tapped the brake just enough to kill all my momentum. And my question though, because I look back at most of my goals and the things that I want to go and accomplish, how many times do I approach them the same exact way? I've got one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. If you're going to fully commit to what this team's doing and where we're going, we've got to understand what your brake pedal is. Make sure you drop your foot away from it and go all in with that throttle. Can you do that for me? I was in Nashville, and it was our World Finals competition. This is our Super Bowl. Came out in the quarterfinals, and this is what happened. Came off the starting line, dropped in. As soon as the dirt touched the main part right there, totally dead. Truck died. I threw it into the corner just hoping by some miracle the truck would start back up. I felt like I really lost that weekend. I lost the opportunity, lost the moment, lost the history. And we hear this all the time. This is a good perspective, okay? This is a good perspective. Finish this for me. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You know how many times I heard that night? And that's a good perspective. I'm not interested in good, I want great. It's not sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. If you got to go through it, get something from it. Get the lesson and then go and apply it somewhere and make this world a better place. And it's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be angry, but it's not okay to stay there. Don't waste your pain. And sometimes it takes that cognizant decision to shift into that next gear.
And now I know what I need to do. Put it in gear, fan the flames, and go for what I know and be great every day.
So one of my takeaways was changing gears. I want to go back to the salon and get my teams excited about a new year with a new mindset.
Taking my foot off the brake and like going full throttle for everything. So the whole team.
But sometimes you need to go into that extra gear and push until you achieve greatness and not just be good.
So I really like that message of sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, because so much of life is learning, and sometimes we do fall down. So just that permission to learn and move forward was a good one.
I just want you to know one thing, that what I just said is the most important thing you could ever hear. Because sometimes we're so in love with good, we don't have the courage to decide to be great. Make today that day that you make that decision to truly go in and go all in and be great. Today's the day. Don't leap with your foot on that brake. Drop it away. Understand who you want to be and have the courage to find your bearings in that chaos. If you do that, you cannot lose. All right? Guys, let's go find that next gear that we never knew we had. Can you do that for me? I love you guys so much. Thank you for the privilege